Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And I left that light on. Let me turn that off real quick. There's a good reason I left that on. I sat down here an hour and a half ago planning out this really nice vlog for you today with lots of video footage. In fact, I had like 15 minutes worth of video footage. But did you ever hear it's not easy being me? Because the computer said, I don't care. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm not going to do it. And it wouldn't. How many videos have I made over the last 12 years or so? Thousands, and it just sat there. It wouldn't do nothing. It normally would count like 1%, 2%, 3%, all the way up to 100%. It said at 0%. I rebooted the computer, renamed it, trying to trick it into something else. I tried every trick I knew, and it just sat there. Wouldn't do nothing. I even went in and took out all the fast forwards, because whenever you fast forwarded, that often causes it to crash or to hang or to do other craziness when you're trying to render a video. No, that didn't fix it either. Nothing. It just sat there. It said, today, you don't get to watch the video I intended for you to watch. The computer said, nope, I ain't going to do it. So there you go. You don't get to see the video. But I made 2 shorter little quick videos for you that I'll show you in a minute. And I'll hopefully explain to you what you were going to see. It'll be kind of like the politician sitting on the edge of the bed and telling you how good it's going to be once you get it. I don't know. The only way I can explain it is it's just not easy being me. But it is easy to receive gifts from my viewers. And we've got a viewer here from Puerto Rico. This was him at age 45, it says on the back. And he's now 83, and that is Andrew Halvin from Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico. Okay, that's the best I've got in terms of trying to explain it. He sent me a nice long letter. And you know me and reading. And his handwriting, I got to be honest, is difficult to read. Sorry, Andrew, and he even admits to that. But it is really difficult to read. But he sent me a lot of nice gifts in a box. So let me see here. Where do I start? Well, first of all, he sent me some exercisers for my hands. And these are unique in that they're adjustable. You can turn the power up on them. And even when I have them turned all the way up to the most powerful, and according to him, I think he said that's, well, let me look and see if I can find where he said how much power that is. I know he did. I know he said it in here somewhere, but I don't see it now. Oh, from 30 to 80 pounds. So I have it turned up to 80 pounds. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what it says. And it is hard to squeeze, I will admit that. So I have them both turned up to 80 pounds. I can still squeeze it. Not easily, but I can do it. They get real hard when you turn them all the way up, I will tell you that. But thank you, Andrew. Now, the only thing about this is, Andrew, you know that my hands got in this condition from working them too hard. I don't know. It's just a thought. But thank you. They are really nice. And he sent me some jars. And these are like little grape jelly jars for storing things. And this one even came with stuff in it. This one came with a whole bunch of little tiny nails in it. So thank you, Andrew. It gets better. It gets better. He sent me a pencil and paper holder he made out of popsicle sticks. Look at there. It's got a fox-trotting horse on the back there, too. Kind of looks like a fox-trotter, actually. Could be. And he's got a dobro on there. And he's got it decorated with sequins and things. And he sent me something else. He sent me like a puzzle box here. When I first saw this, I thought, how do you open that thing? It's got a rose on the top. I mean, it's a perfect theme, isn't it? It's got all the musical instruments. It's got my rose on there. Did a really nice job. And there's how you open it. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's all made out of popsicle sticks, and actually, it's made really well. It's really square. It's like that slides really well. Very good job, Andrew. And he wants me to give him a call at a phone number, which I haven't done yet. I'll try to do that. And he wants me to send him a picture of the water wheel house, and I'll try to do that too, though I don't have any of them printed out at this point in time. All of them are just digital, so I'll have to make some kind of a copy and try to get it to him. And then he sent me a bunch of pictures of other things that he's built. You know, believe it or not, I knew what this was the moment I saw it. And believe what you want, but the instant I saw this, I knew exactly what it was. That's the Civil War monitor. You know, as soon as I saw it, I said, that's the Civil War monitor. And sure enough, that's what it says on the back. And here's a little jewelry box. I think he said he made this one for his daughter. Here's another pencil and paper holder. This is a picture. I don't know if you can make it out, but that's a picture of his miter saw. He said his very dangerous miter saw. He made some other stuff too. This is hard to see in the picture, but it's a battering ram. This is the African Queen. I knew what that was when I saw it too, from the movie, the Humphrey Bogart movie. And this is a siege tower. And let's see here. These are tables, I believe, like little coffee tables. I think they're all made out of popsicle sticks too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about that one, but I think it is. This one I can't even tell what it is myself. Oh, this one's hard to see, but these are some iguanas. Can you see the iguanas there? One's right above my finger, and the other one's over there across catty corner. So he must have a lot of iguanas down there. He said he's seen one that was, I think he said, did he say 5 foot long? 6 feet long. He said he saw one that was 6 feet long. That's some kind of iguanas you don't want to get too close to. That could be an alligator. Anyway, thank you very much, Andrew, for the very nice gifts and very thoughtful. I'm not sure about this one, though. The hands are pretty wore out as they are. I'm not sure exercising them is the right thing to do at this point. It might be. I don't know. Maybe it is. Use it or lose it. That's the story. But anyway, that was very nice of you, Andrew. And let's see. I have 2 little short flicks that I didn't have to render that just came right off the camera. So I'll show you those. This is the first one. About 30 years ago, I found this metal cart in a ditch in the mud and stuff, and I got it out, cleaned up best I could. You can see there's some pretty bad spots on it, on the metal, but overall it works as a cart. And I made this wooden part for the top of it here, with a lift gate there. And Sue's using it for autumn decoration here in front of the Airbnb. And she just recently repainted it and restained it. Used that same stain that's on the water wheel house, in fact.
we're really falling in love with that stain. That's some good stuff for outdoor stuff. But anyway, I just thought you might like to see that little cart there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that cart actually belonged to a neighbor where we used to live. I didn't know that. I just saw it down in a ditch it was, so when I pulled it out, and I didn't think it belonged to anybody. I just thought it was junk, and so I cleaned it all up, painted it up. I actually painted it at John Deere colors, green and yellow. And then I put that box on there. And after I did that, the neighbor saw it and he goes, "That's my cart." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't have any idea. I just saw it down there in the ditch and just thought it was junk, So I said, "Well, you just take it. It's yours. You can have it." And so I gave it to them, and they kept it for several years. And when we moved away, they brought it back over and said, "Here, we want you to have this." I thought that was nice of them, but I didn't know it was their cart. They were a very old couple at the time, about as old as I am now, actually. It's funny how your perspective changes. I thought they were very old people when I lived next door to them. Well, they weren't very active, I'll say that. Not like me, anyway. But I think they were about my age, probably, when that happened. Anyway, in fact, I think he died not long, or actually he may have died before we moved, and then she died just recently, actually. She was way up there. I don't know if she was over 100 or not, but I think she was. Anyway, the other little video clip here, before I show you this one, I want to tell you what I was going to show you, because this is just a little piece out of it. Over the weekend, I started working on the next hammer handle, the one with the H and the S. I was going to make a handle for that. So I just got started Saturday morning. Well, actually, what I did first was I collected some gas from the Polaris Ranger. I wanted to see if there was any water in it. So I put it in a glass jar, set it on the shelf. Then I started building this handle. Well, just about the time I got started, my daughter Lisa walks in and basically laughed at me like, "Yeah, haha, you just think you're going to do that. You're going to come help us clean these trails out." So I did. And I spent 3 solid hours with a chainsaw, non-stop pretty much. I mean, like we had a 30-second break, maybe a minute break between blowdowns. I mean, there was a lot of trees on these trails. I mean, and big trees. Some of these things were, well, I don't know, 18 inches, diameter type trees. They were big trees. And so anyway, for 3 solid hours, that's what I did. And really, I just had a little clip. Well, I had little clips of some of that in there. And then while we were doing that, we ran across a giant pine tree. When I say giant, it wasn't giant, but it was big. It was like a 16-inch pine tree, very straight and very long. And I sawed 3 sections out of that. And then I built a skidder. I made a skidder out of some other metal that I had laying around there to hook on the back of my tractor so I could skid all 3 logs back here. The reason I made the skidder rather than take the Bobcat or something else is because I would have had to taken 2 or 3 different kinds of equipment back there, and it was a long way back there. So I thought if I just make a little skidder that would skid all 3 logs at one time for the back of the tractor, then that's all I got to take back there. Take the tractor back there, and some chain, wrap them around there, and take off, and that's it. So that's what I did. And I had footage of all that and footage of me sawing those logs up on the sawmill. I had all kinds of footage. I had about an hour's worth of footage, and I was condensing that down to about a 20-minute video for today. And then the computer said, "Nope, I don't care. I don't care how hard you worked on it. I don't care how much time you got invested in that. I ain't going to do it. Too bad, so sad." So this is what you get to see instead.
Oh my goodness, that was a lot of work. Got 2 more layers there. That's 12 more 2x4s by 10 foot long. So we got 24 10-footers and 10 8-footers. And when I say 10-footers and 8-footers, they're actually longer than that on each one of those. But anyway, it's some pretty darn good looking lumber, if you ask me. The old sawmill just chugs right along. I'm going to get me some other boards and stack on top of this to keep this from, warping too badly, or at least try to keep it. This stuff is exceptionally wet, way wetter than I ever would have dreamed, and it smells exactly like turpentine. I mean, it does. It burns your eyes. It's got that strong of a turpentine smell. It's amazing.
Yeah, when I was, the pine tree fell across the trail, so it was a big pine tree. To get 3 logs out of it, 2 of them were 20 foot long. 2 of them were 10'6" long. So there you go. That's 21 feet right there. And then you got another 8'6" log on the end of that. So, very long, very big tree. And that was just the part that was good enough for saw logs. So it was much taller than that. Well, anyway, as I'm sawing all that up to get it off the trail, my eyes started burning like crazy, and I thought, what is that? It was turpentine. It seriously has the strongest turpentine smell. The only place you're going to smell it any stronger is if you open up a turpentine bottle or can or whatever. It's seriously, you could easily make turpentine out of that tree. There's no question about it. I'm wondering, how did the old timers do it? Did they just use the sap out of the tree, or did they boil the wood, or how did they make their turpentine? I should look that up, because that tree, definitely you can make turpentine with it. No question about it at all. And let's see. So I guess that's really it. That's all I get to show you. If I can get that video to render, I may show it to you tomorrow. I don't know why it won't render. I tried every trick I could think of, and it just said, nope, I ain't going to do nothing with this video. Too bad. I'm not doing it. Well, it's hard to argue with it. By the way, did you see that so far the Middle East thing is working? They sent the hostages home. The hostages have been released. It was confirmed. They're back in with the Red Cross or whatever, or whoever was picking them up, They've got them, and they got them out. It blows me away. It was one of those deals of being from Missouri, you need to show me. Well, they did. And I just hope they make it sound like it's going to be a lasting peace in that whole area. But, those people have been fighting each other for thousands of years. It'd be really cool if it would just somehow, the peace would hold, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, I'm all good with that. I'm real good with that. In fact, I hope it does hold. Brian Byler was the first one in today, Joe Nigan, and then Wayne Blitz. He says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. It's a beautiful day in Northeast Ohio. Hope all is well with everyone. Keep it safe. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Banks of New Jersey. Rick says he just mainly comes here for the jokes. He didn't have any question marks, but I thought I'd read that. Then B.H. Ringer's from Nova Scotia. And Rick says it's also relaxing to see how other people work. Well, I worked hard over the weekend. I'm telling you, man, it was a lot of work. Gino Hitch, hi Jerry and friends. Wife has a doctor appointment at UC. Hope you figured out how the Polaris. Nope, I didn't make any further progress on the Polaris. In fact, the reason I started working on the hammer handle, I thought, well, while I'm working on that, I can just be thinking about the Polaris Ranger and see if I can think of another option, of something else to try. I'm out of options. I can't think of anything else to try that I haven't tried. By the way, on the Polaris, I had never heard of this Noid thing that everybody was talking about. Noid. I'd never heard of that. But I was at Harbor Freight And I thought, well, let me look in their electronics section there, about, automotive electronics section. Sure enough, they had a Noid tester, and I saw what it is. I read up about that. So I went ahead and bought it, thinking that maybe I could use it on the Polaris Ranger. I haven't opened the package yet. It's still shrink wrapped. And when I got it home, I started doing more research on it because I didn't know nothing about it, And it looks like that these Noid things are only for automobiles. It doesn't look like it's going to work on the Polaris Ranger. It might but I think they're real specific. The little connectors and the lights that are with these things are for specific brands. Now, they did have one for Bosch, and the ECU on my Polaris Ranger is a Boss. So if anybody knows anything more about this Noid thing and whether or not you think it would work on the Polaris Ranger, let me know, because I don't want to open the box. It's like $30. I'm thinking I'll just take it back if it's not going to work. I don't really have any other use for it. I bought it just in case it might work, But based on my research, I'm not seeing that working on the Polaris Ranger. And I Googled that a lot and searched on YouTube to see if anybody else was using a Noid tester on their Polaris Ranger, and I didn't see a single person doing that. So I don't know. Doesn't mean it couldn't be done, but I didn't see anybody doing it. So that's why I still haven't opened it yet. It's still in its shrink wrap, and I may take it back. I don't know. Let's see. But I have not made any further progress. So after we went live, Preston Johnson says, great t-shirt. Have two. Wish I could get more. Yeah, these things are soft. I love this material. It's super, super soft. There's Dottie, and she's praying for us. Thank you, Dottie. Luke Stoltz says, you've got some creative and talented viewers. Yeah, I do. I really do. Bruce Ducker says, fun fact, the African Queen boat is moored down in Key Largo and was available for rides. Isn't that cool? Hi, that computer needs a good hiding and should sit in the corner. Yeah, of all of the videos I've ever done, I've done thousands of them, Some of them you never saw, I've still done them. I've made lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of videos and never ever had it do what it did today. It just sat there. Didn't look like it was doing anything. Couldn't figure it out. It sat there. I'd let it sit 10 minutes. Nothing. Just didn't do anything. I don't know. Never had that happen before. Crazy. Joe says, hope you all are well. Let's see. There's some more prayers from Dottie. And Dottie says, physical therapy today. I got bending at 114 degrees and plenty stretching. They say I'm doing great. Well, that's good. I hope it's not painful. That pain stuff is not good. Speaking of the pain stuff, and I don't want to, yeah, I'm there. Lots of it. Just lots of it. It's driving me crazy. The hands just ache solid. Can't sleep anymore because of it. I keep waking up in the middle of the night because of it. And nothing helps. Not one single stupid thing. I don't care what I do, what I take. Nothing helps. Bruce Ducker. Down here they used to tap pine trees for sap to make turpentine. We used to find terracotta pots used for collection. Big industry down here. Cool. Well, I knew they did it. Now, let me ask you if any of you, and please put it in the comments if you do. My grandmother, her name was Oma, originally Oma Rosa, but she had been remarried a couple of times. At the time, her name was Oma Moore when I was doing this with her. She was married to my step-grandfather, Ed Moore, who was the electrician that I learned so much about electric from. He was a great guy. I really love that guy. But anyway, we were out in the pine woods of Ellington, Missouri, down southeast Missouri, and Deer Run State Park, in fact, is where we were specifically. And I had never done this. I was pretty young at the time. I don't know. I don't know if I was still in my teens or if I was in my early 20s. I don't remember now. But anyway, we went out collecting pine knots. Did you ever do that? Do you know what that is? Well, it's not what I thought it was. A pine knot, you'd see a knot in a tree or something, and you're thinking, where does that come from? Or like something grow on the tree, a little knot. Well, I don't know really where these things came from, but they really were the pine knots out of a tree that I guess had either the tree rotted and left this resin knot, in the pine needles. You'll find them, just find them laying all over the place. And we collected tons of them. And they are the knot out of a tree. And I didn't know if it was from a fire maybe that came through and this just got, but that doesn't make sense. So it had to be that the tree fell and rotted and left this resin-filled knot laying on the ground. That's the only thing that makes sense. So anyway, we collected tons of those things that day. They were just all over the dang pine woods. And I was of course, I had to ask why we were collecting the things at the beginning. What do you use these things for? Well, you start fires with them. You can take a match, and I'm not exaggerating. Take a match, and they'll just light right up. Crazy flammable. I've never, because of the turpentine that's in them. It's a super resinous knot of wood is really what it amounts to. And they collect, have a big basket of them sit there by their wood stove or, in their kitchen or whatever, wherever they were going to start a fire, and just take a match. And that's all you need. Just that one pine knot and a match, and it'll start right up. I don't know has anybody ever done that before? And around here, I've never tried to collect pine knots here. We do have some pine forests up on the Mark Twain, and now that I just thought of that, I'm going to go up there and look around, see if I can find some of those pine knots. And if I can, I'll show you what they look like. But down in Ellington, down there at Deer Run State Park, they were everywhere. You could find them anywhere. Let's see. Eric Sandel, you can steam distill the turpentine out of the wood. The water will separate from the turpentine. Yeah. I was amazed how strong the smell of turpentine is in this pine. I'm seriously telling you, you wouldn't go, I wonder what that smells like. You'd know exactly what it smells like if you've ever smelled turpentine, Ronald Todd, Trump just signed the peace deal along with 35 other countries. If you still hate the president at this point, maybe you should consider some mental health help. Well, I would have to say it differently than that, Ronald. I would say you got to give him credit. I mean, I don't care who you are, and if you can't give him credit, then you're an extremist. Period. I don't care. You can't make any excuse. You're an extremist if you can't give him credit for this. That's all I can say. Like I said, I'm not a Donald Trump fanboy, but I'm starting to lean that way, I have to admit, because he's doing some pretty cool stuff. And the tariffs, that when he first started them, I thought, I don't know about that. But now I see where he's coming from with them, and they make sense. They make a lot of sense, and it's working. It's working really well. Mike Bennett, Dottie, looks like you're coming. Okay. Gosh, that one didn't have any question marks. I'll skip that one. Richard Herbranson, popsicle sticks are made from good wood, maybe birch. Mm-hmm. I've seen lots of things made out of popsicle sticks, but generally speaking, they don't stay as nice as this is. I mean, they don't, you can always tell they're just inaccuracies, if you will. This is not like that. This is as slick and square as if you made it out of solid wood. He really did a good job. I'm amazed at how perfect it is. It's really perfect. I'll let it slide out a little too far there, but it's really very, very nice. Dottie says, okay, no. Private conversation there. John Cunningham. Hi, Jerry. Wife and I coming up to Mountain View this weekend. We will try to find you. Cool. Well, I don't know if you've sent me an email or not, but if you want to send me an email, I'll send you my text, and then you can text me, and then you'll know exactly where we are. So, John, anyway, do that if you can. rosastringworks@gmail.com. It's a very simple email. Gary Hayden. Jerry, I noticed that Gibson guitar bridges are turned backwards compared to Martin's. Is one better than the other? Well, I prefer the look of the Martin one. I don't know why Gibson did that. I have no idea. Doesn't make sense. It looks backwards to me. The Martin one looks right to me. It's just personal preference. I don't know that one's better than the other one. You know, if I had time to sit down and think about it, I might be able to figure out a reason why I would prefer one over the other. But right now, I don't know that I could say that one sounds any better than the other one. But in terms of looks, I prefer the Martin one myself. It's about all I got on it. But yeah, I've always noticed that. I always wonder why they did that. I don't know. Maybe Martin was the one that turned it. No, Martin was around a long time. You know, I don't remember the exact wording now, but I think Martin, C.F. Martin, is the oldest continually run family business in the whole United States. I think 1850, or was it 1835? Forgot now. But anyway, they continuously family owned. It's the oldest continuously owned by a family run business in the United States. However they worded that. Rick says, my doctor recommends a heating pad for rheumatoid arthritis. It works for rheumatoid. Well, I have both kinds according to the doctors that I've been to. And my rheumatoid apparently isn't near as bad as my mother's because her hands were very deformed. I see more and more deformation in my hands all the time. They're nothing like my mother's. My mother's were terrible. But my dad, he had the osteo, and his joints and everything would swell so much. Mine don't seem to do that either. I don't know, maybe it's the blend of the two that makes mine different than theirs, but all I know is it ain't good. I can tell you that for darn sure, you know. I don't mean this to sound like I know everything or that I'm trying to slant anybody else or you know, put anybody else down. That's not what this next comment's about. But the way I look at it, when you have quote unquote true arthritis, at least in my opinion, there ain't no fixing that. You know, lots of people say, well, I do this and it removes the pain and it does this and it does that. Well, I would say maybe you have a different thing than arthritis, if it really does fix the pain. Arthritis, as far as I know, and as far as I've seen anywhere, and you don't fix it. That's just the way I look at it. And so far, that's been the case with me. And like I told you, and again, I believe what you want, but I don't have a placebo gene, period, on anything. Whether it's arthritis or headaches or body aches of any kind, if something works, it works. And if it don't work, it don't work, period. It's just black and white with me. There's no, that made me feel better. No, it either fixed it or it didn't fix it. That's just the way it is with me. And there ain't nothing that's even started to touch the arthritis pain on this. Not one thing. The only thing that's slightly helped is the vibration, and that has waned a lot over the last year. I mean, at first it seemed to really relax my hands a lot. Now, not so much. I mean, I don't know. It's just getting worse and worse all the time. It may be getting so bad before very long that I'm just going to say, nope, I can't even work on your instruments if you bring them here. Yeah, I don't know. It's mostly because the instrument work is different than other kinds of work. For me, it's just the instrument work is so intense and it's so tight and so I don't know how to explain it. It just, and the motions are so repetitive all the time, and they just aches. I can't do it. Where like maybe driving a nail, that's a different thing. It's not like the same kind of motion, and it's a temporary thing, and you're over with it. I don't know. It's just different. It just feels totally different to me. Dottie says, here in South Carolina, we call the pine knot fat lighter. Yes, a single match will start a fire. Yeah, that stuff was crazy, amazing how flammable it was. And these pine knots, and they were super, super resinous. You smell them, and yeah, it's pure turpentine, Hugh O'Connor, actually, the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians has only been going on since 1948. Until then, the Jews formed. Well, I'm not just talking about just those two. I'm talking about the whole Middle East. The whole Middle East is supposed to be at peace now. And, that's what they're talking about, that this deal is signed by lots of countries, and, everybody's behind it, and they're all supposedly it's going to be wonderful. Well, I'm from Missouri. I'll believe that when I see it, because they've been going at each other for thousands of years. Yeah, I don't know. John Cunningham, we use the pine knots for fire starters and the resin when playing baseball to dry hands. Yeah, there you go. Gotcha. Let's see. Ronald Todd, bringing 35 Mid-Eastern countries together to sign a peace deal is a monumental task. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm super excited about this. I think it's the greatest thing ever. It's just, I just have a tough time believing that it'll stick. Especially because there's so many of these factions, like the Hamas and the Taliban and the, whatever. There's so many of them. I just hope it sticks. It would be so awesome if it would stick. Mark Nedsom says, hello. How you doing, Mark? Robert Davis. Hi, Jerry. I don't consider myself a Trump fanboy either, but I sure can't argue with results, and from all appearances, he just keeps doing everything right. Yeah, I gotta say, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like him in his first term. I voted for him in his first term, and I was super disappointed, because I thought that after he got in, he would change his rhetoric and he'd become more presidential, and he didn't. And he name called, and he just ridiculed, and I don't know. And that's, in my opinion, that was why he didn't get elected in the second term right away, because he put everybody against him. Everybody was against him. I don't mean everybody that liked him. I mean all the people that didn't like him really didn't like him. Like super didn't like him. You know what I mean? Like he got them to stand up and say, we don't like you. He really just fanned the fire. And they came out in droves, and I think that's the reason he didn't get reelected immediately. Well, in this one, he's still doing a lot of that, but he has toned it down some. But he also has done some amazing things. Some damn amazing things in this term. And I'm way more of a fanboy in this term than I was in the first one. In the first one, I was glad to see him go. I got to be honest with you. But I don't know. And like the way the January 6th thing, the way he handled that, I was not happy about that either. And I really wasn't going to vote for him in this second term. I wasn't going to. But I didn't feel like I had a choice. There wasn't any other option. Because Kamala, I'm sorry, just that don't make no sense at all. Bill Hyder, Martin Guitar was founded in 1833. There you go. I knew it was way back there. I couldn't remember the number. I was thinking 1835. After I said 1850, but then I said, well, 1835 sounds right, but 33 is, I'm sure, correct. Mark Nedsom, I have arthritis in my thumbs and live with pain every day. Nothing helps. I even tried the vibrator machine Jerry uses, and it hurts worse. Well, I don't think mine hurts worse with the vibrator thing, but it sure don't do what it used to. It relaxed it more when I first started doing it. And it still helps a little. I still do it, but not like it used to, because it just gets worse every day is the problem. And so as it gets worse, then, whatever you were doing doesn't help as much. Ronald Todd, Martin Guitar is just up the road from me, and I've talked with Chris Martin several times. Very nice and informative. They offer plant tours every day if anyone wants to visit. I've never been in there on their tour or anything, but, I've never been there, period. But Bill Pilliard, he has his own guitar that he built in my shop. Well, he was taking the tour at Martin, and he called me from the tour and said, hey, if I buy these parts, would you help me put it together? And I said, yep. So that's where that came from. He was on the tour at the time, and then he brought those parts home, and I made him do most of the work because I figured he'd get a lot more sense of pride out of it. I mean, I helped him with the hardest parts, and then I didn't let him make any big mistakes. Like he was going to put it together, and I said, nope, you can't put it together yet. He goes, well, what's wrong? And I go, you got to carve down braces. So we scalloped out those braces and carved them really good, and then the rest is history. I mean, that's a good sounding guitar he's got. Let's see. Rick Casada says, Jerry, I have severe rheumatoid. If I bump my hands, they swell up. I can't play guitar. The heating pad takes the swelling down so I can play. Yeah, I do find the heating helps some too. Yeah, I do. It's amazing on mine. I can go along sometimes for an extended period of time and don't really feel horrible. I mean, you always feel it there, but there's times when it's not that bad. And then I can do the least little thing, and it's just like you just stabbed a knife right through my hand. I mean, it's unbelievable. The pain, it maybe not last that long, but it'll be really strong for maybe a minute, I don't know. It's just nuts. It's a bad deal. And it's all through my whole body. Like I told you, my height I've lost a full inch in height. Sue didn't believe me. And I said, measure me. I can tell you. Because I was always a full 6'1", and maybe borderlines, more than that. And now I'm barely 6 foot. I'm I think I'm 5'11 3/4, something like that. Jerry, let's see. Robert Davis. Hey, Jerry, on the chat scroll problem, try to highlight the comment that you're on, and if the screen jumps, it's easier to find where you were. That's an idea. I don't know if that works on this, though. See, I'm not on the regular Google thing. I'm on this streaming software brings the comments in, and that's why I think it misses some comments. Some people say, you missed my comment. I go, well, I didn't see no question marks, And then I go back up through there, and I don't see their comments, And so I think that's why I miss a few. And I don't know if the highlighting thing works on this. It doesn't seem to. I don't know. Maybe it will. I'll try it. Mark Nadsum. So, Jerry, when do you want me to come down to discuss the deer hunting plans? Well, I don't care. Just come anytime if you want to deer hunt. I think let's see. Right now, as far as I know, Ron and his brother and myself will be deer hunting here, and that's about it. So, and there's plenty of area. So, if you want to come, you're welcome. 121 viewers at the moment. As far as I can tell, guys, that's everything I've got here for today. And sorry I couldn't get the actual video to work. I wanted to show you my skidder in action and pulling those big logs. Those are some good-sized logs. And it's the first time I've ever cut pine. maybe ever. I mean, I think I've cut, well, I know I've cut a limb or two off of pine trees before, like trimming them up or something. But as far as I know, I don't think I ever cut a pine tree all the way down before. Doesn't seem like that'd be right, but right now I can't think of a place where I ever did that. Plenty of cedar trees. Just the water wheel house alone, I cut down, I couldn't even tell you how many cedar trees I cut down. But we don't have pine trees much on this farm. I know where there's 2 more on my farm, and they aren't big enough to really make lumber out of. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for being here. I will see you tomorrow with something else.